From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Engulfed in flames, what tens of thousands of people are facing in LA as they flee raging wildfires. And the trial begins with the man accused of killing another in a Billings road rage incident caught on our Q2 studio security cameras say led to the shooting. Plus, a center for the elderly, what a Crow man hopes to do to help seniors and youth have a place of their own in Lodge Grass. That's going to be a great story here in just a few minutes. Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Wednesday, January 8th. I'm Augusta McDonnell here with Miller Robson.
Good morning, Augusta. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. And right off the top, I want to mention there's because of the interstate closure on I-90 near Big Timber.
Between Big Timber and Columbus, west-east, it's closed because of the winds.
Because of the winds.
Yeah, you want to check the MDOT website, folks, for more information on that. But just kind of give you an idea. Let's just show you what we're looking at.
And just one thing, Reed Point's going to have a 2-hour delay to start school this morning at least. We know of that one for sure, but double check all of the school systems in this area. If you're in this area, you might not be going to class on time. Yeah,
well, there you go. And we talked about this yesterday morning. That's probably going to be very problematic this morning with those winds. And look at that. We've had gusts over 50 miles an hour in Livingston. Just had a gust of 48, 40 here in Billings. So slick roads, blowing snow, reduced visibility. And we're going to add the possibility of maybe more snow for some areas as we go along today through tomorrow morning. So very problematic with the commuting out there. Just be safe. Take care of yourself and the folks driving next to you, and watch out for the kiddos as they'll be heading out to school this morning as well. So very, very windy. But we'll talk about the warm-up coming in and how many chances of snow we have coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Miller, thanks for tracking that. Yeah, really gusty winds out there. And it's windy down in the Los Angeles area as well, where tens of thousands of people are under evacuation orders due to a dangerous, massive brush fire outside of LA. An untold number of homes have already been destroyed. High windstorms and dry conditions have fueled the rapidly spreading inferno. Here's a live look right now at some of the damage left behind. CBS's Danya Bacchus is in Los Angeles with the latest.
Firefighters in Southern California pushed to the brink while now trying to contain multiple fast-spreading brush fires that have engulfed homes.
This is like right at my doorstep.
And forced the evacuation of tens of thousands of residents.
It seems to me, let's get out of here. Whatever I lose, I lose.
The massive fire in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood of Los Angeles exploded in a matter of hours.
Get in the car.
Leaving some residents and news crews to run to safety.
You gotta go!
Hundreds of motorists and their pets had no choice but to abandon their cars on the highway.
There's a lot of fire right there. That's why the people coming. We leave the car.
Bulldozers were used to move some of those vehicles out of the way so emergency personnel could get through. Further inland, the Eaton Canyon fire has rapidly burned hundreds of acres, forcing the swift evacuation of a senior living center.
It's tough. We got to lift them up, put them in the vans, and then take the wheelchairs at the same time. So we got to get everybody out of here.
And this is what firefighters are up against. They've been fighting flames like this throughout the night. And because of the high wind gusts, they're unable to fly water-dropping aircrafts that are crucial to this firefight.
We're working seamlessly and closely to ensure that we are protecting lives and property first.
The National Weather Service predicts the winds will weaken later today, though the extent of the damage from these fast-spreading fires is yet to be seen. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And in court news this morning, yesterday the trial began in a deadly road rage case that happened right outside of Q2. It was a conflict that ultimately ended with a man shot to death. Now, more than 2 years later, 31-year-old Jacob Troxel is facing a deliberate homicide charge in the killing of Michael Duran. Our Charlie Kleps was in the courtroom as opening statements began.
More than 2 years ago, it was right here where Michael Duran was shot and killed by Jacob Troxel following a road rage incident that brought them here right between the Billings YMCA and our KTVQ news station. We caught the entire incident on our surveillance camera, and on Tuesday morning, that trial began with Troxel claiming self-defense.
Avoidable, preventable, senseless.
There wasn't a shortage of emotions inside the Yellowstone County Courthouse Tuesday morning.
This case is about the senseless murder of Michael Duran.
He was trying to get him to stop. Why wouldn't he stop?
Prosecutors and defense attorneys presented their opening statements to a jury regarding a road rage incident that turned fatal in August of 2022.
The murder of an unarmed 29-year-old man who should still be alive today.
Troxel is accused of shooting Michael Duran 7 times through a car window while the two exchanged punches, an act the prosecution told jurors was completely unnecessary.
The defendant provokes him by punching him, hitting him, chasing him, spitting on him.
But the defense argues 31-year-old Jacob Troxel didn't have a choice.
They begin fighting. Duran won't stop. He's grabbing at Jacob's shirt. He's getting in his face.
The defense also told jurors Duran went back to violently attacking Troxel after the two had separated, with Troxel even returning to his own vehicle.
Between punches, possibly losing consciousness, and Sierra screaming, Jacob does the one thing he has to do, the only thing he can do. Grabs his gun from the back seat and fires.
The trial continued with the first set of witnesses, a detective involved in the response to the case and a doctor that handled the autopsy, and is expected to continue throughout the week.
This is a case about self-defense.
With much to still be decided.
Michael isn't here to tell you about what happened that day. He can't tell you why he tried to reason with the defendant.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Charlie, thanks so much. This trial, which again is expected to last a week, comes after a coroner's inquest. That inquest happened in October of 2023, 14 months after the shooting. With Troxel claiming self-defense, that claim was put in front of a citizen jury to see if they believe he could face charges. Yellowstone County Deputy Coroner Rich Hoffman presided over the hearing. After 2 days, the jury decided that a charge of some kind would be warranted. The 31-year-old was ultimately arraigned on the deliberate homicide charge in November of 2023. Troxel has been allowed to remain free on his own recognizance during the time leading up to this trial. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. And we have new details this morning on the New Year's Eve fire on the Billings South Side. That blaze left a woman dead and another seriously injured. The Yellowstone County Coroner's Office says 89-year-old Arlene Arispe died in that house fire on Phillips Street. She died from smoke inhalation and thermal injuries suffered when the blaze broke out. The Coroner's Office says her death has been ruled an accident. Arispe's daughter, Gail, was the woman seriously injured in those flames. Gail is currently in a Denver hospital receiving treatment for a collapsed lung and severe burns. The Billings Fire Department still has not released a cause of the fire. And in Lodgegrass this morning, one Lodgegrass man is looking to combat violence, homelessness, and addiction by constructing the area's first youth and elderly center. The Tribal Council approved David Blaine's project, and now he must raise more than $90,000 to make it happen. Amrak Carmack has more on his plan and the change it could create.
What seems like a large open field behind me could really mean a $90,000 investment in the future of Lodgegrass and its community. In Bighorn County, you'll find Crow native David Blaine. He has many passions, from coaching youth sports to carpentry to social justice. But his biggest love of them all is his community.
I just basically love volunteering anywhere I can help.
David volunteers in many places throughout the Crow Reservation, including his summer movie nights in the park, offering free food and drinks to community members.
Well, David's dreaming big for the kids. And so don't think that your dream is too small. It's going to help someone out.
But he's currently working on his largest project of all, a 3,200 square foot facility to support elders and youth in the Lodgegrass community.
Because our youth are our future and our elders are our history.
The reason comes from personal experience. David struggled with addiction for 20 years. He's now 7 years sober, but wants to prevent children in the community from continuing the same habits he did, including addiction, violence, and homelessness.
The kids can have somewhere to go, one where they know that there's someone who cares about them. They're going to go all day, every day.
The facility will get kids involved, offering sports, workshops, free meals, and a donation center. That being said, the biggest roadblock is the $93,000 price tag attached to it.
You know, it's just like showing the kids their potential. It's not just going to be a fun and games place.
Helping connect a future and elder population, supporting them so they may support others.
We need to get a hold of the kids, man. They're our future.
A future plan David hopes he can pursue this 2025. In Lodgegrass, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
Mac, thanks so much. And in Helena, the infighting has already begun inside of Montana's 2025 legislative session. Republicans are demanding an apology over comments made at a legal conference in April after Democrats say they believed it was a waste of time. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian has more on the conflict and if it's a sign of things to come.
On Tuesday morning, the president of the State Bar of Montana appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee after Republican senators asked her to appear to answer questions about what they called offensive conduct at an event the bar sponsored. The State Bar is the professional association of attorneys in Montana, and all attorneys licensed to practice law in the state must be members. Last month, 19 Republican senators, led by Senator John Fuller of Kalispell, sent a letter to the bar complaining about an April 2024 conference, where Bozeman attorney Jim Getz made several heated comments, criticizing a Montana Supreme Court ruling and several laws passed by the legislature and referring to Governor Greg Gianforte by a derogatory name. The senators said since bar membership is mandatory, the association should apologize for the comments, and they asked the bar's president, Tony Tease, to appear at this meeting. She said the bar had apologized to the governor's office for what was said about Gianforte and that they are independent and nonpartisan.
We cannot control comments made by folks who attend all of our CLE programs or even folks who are panelists on or speakers at those events. We don't necessarily endorse those views.
Democrats on the committee said there wasn't a legitimate legislative reason for making the bar come in and respond to the comments.
To call in an association to answer for that members' comments, to call them in to ask for an apology and to demand punishment is having us as the Senate forcing speech upon organizations.
But Republicans said their questions about the bar would be relevant as they considered legislation later in the session.
Although it was put in that letter that we were going to ask them to appear here, which the State Bar has agreed to do, it was not by subpoena, it was not forced.
Fuller is sponsoring a bill this session that would make membership in the bar voluntary. It's just one of several dozen proposed bills that would make changes to Montana's legal system. MTN asked Getz for his comment on the senators' letters. He said, quote, "You would think they would have better things to do." In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.